Ok, idemo na zadnji dio službenog programa. Dakle, ostala su nam još 4 tima iz Nuqleusa i nakon toga naši gosti iz Splita i Varaždina. Dakle, prvi tim nam je Cyclops. Evo, izvoli Petra.
Hi, my name is Petar, and today I will talk about Cyclops, a tool for deploying software. So, before I get into what Cyclops actually is, I'm going to talk about applications that all of you have on your phones. So, if you take Uber, for example, even though it seems as a single application, it's actually 2,000 smaller applications working together so you can order a ride. How do you actually manage all of those applications? How do you work on them? How do you deploy them? Well, this is something a tool called Kubernetes has already solved. So even though it solved a lot of issues, it still left some room for complexity, and all of the Kubernetes applications are defined through such complex configuration files. In a system with a couple of thousand of these, you can easily make mistakes, and this is where Cyclops actually comes in. Cyclops abstracts this complicated configuration under a simple and structured UI, where your developers can deploy their applications in just a couple of clicks, which makes them faster and more efficient. So our target market is actually the Kubernetes market, which is, by the last year's survey, 76,000 organizations using it in production, and 5.6 million developers using it on a daily basis. Also, valuation last year for the Kubernetes market was $2 billion, while the approximation for 2030 is $8 billion. Our business model is a so-called managed solution, where we would run Cyclops on our own infrastructure and would just provide the functionality to our clients, which is a common thing in the open source world. So Grafana, a company today worth $3 billion, uses exactly that business model. So if we compare Cyclops to other solutions, Cyclops is simpler to developers. Cyclops gives you feedback on your cluster state. It's used both for generating configuration and actually deploying it. It is the only link between Kubernetes and developers, and it gives developers a UI which is, again, much simpler for them to use. Okay, so currently we are going through a couple of startup competitions, and by the end of this year we are going to have an alpha testing, and we hope that next year we're going to have Cyclops actually running in production. Currently in the team there are 2 software engineers, Jure Karaj and myself, and for the first phase of development we are looking for an investment of 260,000 euros for the expenses of salaries for the current team and the expansion of it, and the cost of the cloud infrastructure for our managed solution. This is it. Thank you all for your attention, and feel free to ask any questions.
So, how are you planning to introduce your product to the market? Who is your buyer?
Yeah, sure. So our first buyers would be small to medium companies, not that experienced in infrastructure or Kubernetes. So Kubernetes community and software engineering community in general have a lot of public channels that they communicate through. So, for example, Reddit and Slack, which is something that we're aiming to publish on in the next month, which is something that people from WASP actually told us to do. And you can get a lot of traction in the software engineering world through such channels.
So it's a B2B thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm as the owner of a company, I'm buying this, so my people can be what?
So your people can be faster, more efficient, and so they can make less errors, which is like you don't want to pay for outages and stuff like that. You can mitigate it, at least to some extent, with our solution.
Okay, thank you.
Just to follow up on my question that I asked the last time I heard you talk, have you started using this in productive or super beta?
No, not yet, just because it's large companies. We actually have one Spoke alumni that we're talking to, and they have plans on testing our product because they want to switch to Kubernetes, even without us, but we can make this transition look a lot smoother than it would be. So yeah, we have, let's say, a potential tester or customer.
And just one more, your competitors that you listed there, Customized, Argo, and Helm, how much do they charge? Are they open source or do they charge? What's their?
Yeah, sure. So essentially, Helm and Customize are just like simple tools, and you would pay only for some managed instances of that. But I actually know numbers for Argo, and Argo uses both Customize and Helm, and it charges like 5,000 euros per month for something that just my team in Superbet would use. So we would charge, I think, less for a start, but we'll scale it up as we go. So yeah, I think for like a medium to large company, it would be like 10,000 euros per month for an instance.
And in terms of development, on what percent, are you like 10% done of the product that you've envisioned, or 50%, or?
Currently, we have an MVP done that anybody can install and try it out on our landing page. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of features that we want to implement that would make developers' lives easier. But yeah, I think the MVP part is done, and we actually published it for testing. So yeah.
Thanks.
I have a bit of a comment more than a question, because I've seen it on a couple of other slides. And if somebody at Nuqleus told you to do this, I'll contradict the advice, which is when you put the cost you'll have, as part of your investment, don't put salaries. Tell us what this will result in. We don't want to know how many people you're going to employ. What will you achieve is much more relevant.
Like just put software development instead of salaries or something like that.
Well, no. What will you make?
Okay.
Software development is, well,
yeah,
it's a cost. Yeah. It's not the result.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I get it. Thanks.
Ok, slijedi nam Emil Barić i tim Synergotron. Izvoli, Emil.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank the Nuqleus representatives on behalf of our company for making it possible to present our project here. So, as well as the investment board, of course. So who are we? We are a health tech company developing a handheld device based on our proprietary hybrid plasma technology for both professional and personal use. So what did we detect as a main issue? So the last pandemic showed a collapsing health system, which reduced the quality of life for many people because they didn't receive adequate health care at the adequate time. That resulted in rising infections. Of course, extensive use of drugs developed drug resistance, and another issues which can be tackled at home as well are chronic pain, chronic wounds, and of course all of the issues related with aging. What makes our technology unique is the use of these physical stimuli, enabling us to gain the following benefits. Our solution is up until now proven in the fields of disinfection, pain relief, wound healing, and regeneration. Even though we have competition that are using similar physical stimuli, none of the competitors are using it simultaneously. So we pose as, let's say, a less expensive and more convenient technology, enabling us to use the benefit of combination of the above-mentioned stimuli. So if we consider that 1% of all population is affected by some of the above-mentioned issues, and if only 1% of those buys the device, we come up with these numbers. So the potential of sales in the Europe, world, and Croatia. So this is a brief company history. We have founded the company in 2017. We have applied a PCT, EU, and US patent. We have developed a wellness device, which you can see here. And we have started entering the EU market. So the present status, we have over 250 users, both private and professional, with very good feedback. What we would like to do with the investment is to scale up the production to make it financially sustainable and make a big leap or step towards a medical device. Currently, we have no dilution in ownership. This is the financing. So we would seek 350,000 euros of investment to scale up the production. This is our team. So Domagoj is a founder and CEO with a lot of experience in the cold plasma technology, Milan developing the electrical part, and me handling the mechanical part and also the business part of the project. These are our partners coming from outside, so from academia, and partners occasionally included in the project, helping us in the engineering part. So this is, to sum up, the overall potential sales by 2030 is 1 million units. For the stage 1 wellness, we are aiming for 350,000 euro investment. And we are asking you to join on our quest to bring the health home. So with this, I would like to thank you.
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand. So you already have the product, which is working. So you need money to scale up the production,
Yes,
right?
we have sold devices in such a form. Up until now, we have a CE certification, which enabled us to sell it as a wellness device.
Ah, okay.
And
Sorry, you have it or you don't have it?
we have it.
You have it, okay.
Yes.
So
And we would like to scale up the production because then it would make the project sustainable and it would enable us to go towards the medical certification, which requires clinical testing and so on.
okay, so you need to, but there is, I mean, why do you need this money? Is there a demand for this product on the market? So you need to, scale up production to satisfy this demand, or you just want to scale up the production and, what happens next, right?
Okay, so we have proven, you saw the approximation for Croatia for 400 people. So until the end of this year, we will probably reach this number. So that was a conservative estimate. And coming from the product cost, I would say that the Croatian market is not, let's say, as financially capable, but the people are still buying the device.
And how are you selling those devices right now?
How are we selling it?
Yes.
Basically, word of mouth marketing was up until now, and it was, well, through our website or direct contact. So.
Okay.
So now you're selling a wellness device and you're planning to shift to medical, right?
Long-term problem.
Yeah. Who are the clients now and who are the clients after certification?
Okay, so the clients now, we have both clinics which bought the device. They're using it for a certain therapies which they charge for, and mostly we have private users, so customers directly. For the medical device, it will be namely clinics.
Okay, well, why do they buy? I'll rephrase. Why do they buy? What's their motivation? What do they use it for? And what will they use it after it's certified medical?
Okay, for example, there are certain indications where you cannot use the wellness device without a medical certification, such as, let's say, wound treatment. And the technology has the applicability in the field. So you would widen the possibility of application with certifying it as a medical device. And plus, you cannot make medical claims with it now.
So just to clear up this wound treatment, what does it do?
So it helps the tissue regenerate itself in one sentence.
So basically regenerates.
Precisely.
Okay.
So also, for example, if you look at something like, so this was the regeneration done in sports, and this is, for example, a clear example of skin disinfection, rejuvenation, so something like that, depending on what one. Because this, if you consider acne, it's a type of wound, basically.
Sure. And I'm kind of fighting myself to accept this as real, to be very honest,
Okay.
because it looks like a miracle thing.
Well,
Is it?
I mean, it's from our point of view, it's scientifically proven. So
Okay.
it hasn't been used much because it was, let's say, put aside. The technology itself is 120 years old, so it's Tesla's technology, basically.
Sure. But I mean, acne industry, if you talk about it, it's
Yep.
millions of dollars industry with lots of
Precisely.
different ways of doing it. So you are interrupting this industry and solving their issue.
Yeah,
But there are some other industries you are also entering.
yeah, of course.
Which
I mean,
ones would that be?
for example, if you, at the initial slide, I pointed out wound treatment, for example. So if you go towards a medical device, you can have very nasty wounds coming from diabetes, for example. There you can show very good results where the wound can close without amputation or the risk of amputation if treated correctly and on time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a miracle. Now, question is, you mentioned that there are companies that already make products that are similar.
Yeah, so
Does any one of them make a product for wound treatment?
no, not based on this technology.
Why not?
To be honest, I think it's, if you look at the MDR, for example,
What?
the medical device regulative,
Yes.
the field of cold plasma is only emerging, so it will be in the next issue of the medical device regulative as a treatment method, let's say.
So wait, you're saying that some very wealthy industry is not going to be aware of that?
For example, if you look at, we are always pointing out, Scepter with its Biotron device. So what they are using is only light from these benefits. So they're only using photons. They're not using any of these other methods.
I think you don't understand my question. If this is revolutionary, fantastic, it works, it's almost a miracle.
Yep.
I find it hard to believe that some of these companies who are much wealthier than we are, maybe wealthier than our entire country, are not already on it.
We found a similar technology on some research institutes showing the similar results as we shown, but the device is not this, it's the size of this couch, for example.
Okay, so you have competition, right?
But probably, I mean, it's a huge field, of course, you cannot avoid competition, yeah.
So how are you going to make it if some company the size of Pfizer comes and says, oh, I'm going to build this thing and forget these guys in Croatia?
Probably
How are you going to make it?
Accept the current patent applications that would probably defend us in some way.
So
we have no other possibilities because we are
so
too
you
small.
have a patent application that has an innovation that you believe you can protect, and that will give you a monopoly on your type of device.
At this point with no issue whatsoever, so it was accepted.
Has it issued?
So it's issued, we filed for a PCT, for a national patent, and we are waiting for
So the patent application issued.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
USA and EU.
How much does this thing cost to make?
So in this set, as you see it, the production cost is around 200 now, euro.
How much you're going to sell it for?
We do sell it for 1,100 plus VAT.
Good for you.
Ok, sada nam slijedi Jakov i tim Novela Medica. Jel radi? Super, izvoli Jakov.
Pozdrav, ja sam Jakov, student 5. godine medicine i danas predstavljam tim Novela Medica. Jeste li znali da godišnje oko 900.000 djece umre od upale pluća? Od ovoga oko 500.000 i preko je unutar zemalja u razvoju. Stoga od ključne važnosti na vrijeme dijagnosticirati bolest i težinu bolesti kako bi pravovremenu skrb mogla dobiti djeca koja je to najpotrebnije. A glavni parametar za dijagnostiku težine bolesti u tim područjima upravo je frekvencija disanja. To je jedan od 4 vitalna parametra. Međutim, ona se još uvijek mjeri manualno. Brojanjem koliko je puta pacijent udahnuo unutar 60 sekundi. Ovakav tip mjerenja je subjektivan i vremenski koncentracijski zahtjevan. Što znači da zapravo medicinskim djelatnicima predstavlja problem i narušava kvalitetu samog parametra i mjerenja parametra. Naše rješenje štedi vrijeme, olakšava posao, objektivizira taj subjektivni parametar Također pridonosi kvalitetnim dijagnozama i udobno za pacijenta. To rješenje je respimjer. Jednostavan i prijenosan uređaj koji precizno mjeri frekvenciju disanja. Jednostavno ga stavite na prsni koš, pričekate 6 sekundi i pročitate rezultat s njegovog LCD prikaza. Takav uređaj plasira se na tržište drugih uređaja koji mjere vitalne parametre. To su, na primjer, toplomjer, tlakomjer i pulsni oksimetar. Svaki od ovih uređaja zasebno ima godišnju tržišnu vrijednost između 1,5 i 3 milijarde američkih dolara. Sa predviđenim rastom unutar iduće 4 godine od otprilike 50%. Naš cilj je unutar prve 2 godine od početka proizvodnje doći do prodaje otprilike od 0,05% prodaje pulsnih oksimetara, a što bi otprilike zadovoljilo minimalne potrebe hrvatskog javnog zdravstvenog sustava. Unutar 5 godina bi očekujemo da je mogli doći do 0,5%. Naš biznis plan je business to business prodaja uređaja koje možemo podijeliti u 3 segmenta. To su zdravstveni sustavi, ljekarne i organizacije. Organizacije kao što su UNICEF, Svjetska zdravstvena organizacija i Liječnici bez granica. Naš plan je napraviti pilot program u hrvatskim bolnicama u kojem ćemo validirati uređaj i nakon toga htjeli pristupiti nekom partneru da nam pomogne u širenju tržišta i skaliranju. Tim imena iza tima Novele Medice, osim mene, su Dominik i Pedar. Oboje inženjeri strojarstva sa Fakulteta strojarstva i brodogradnje u Zagrebu. Također radimo s našim mentorima, docentom Marijom Hrgatićem, profesorom Marijom Cifrakom i diplomiranom ekonomistom Nikolinom Topić. Petar i ja smo braća, a Dominik je naš prijatelj iz djetinjstva. Ono što nas motivira je zapravo zajednički rad i želimo napraviti inovaciju koja će se koristiti generacijama koje dolaze. Tim smo osnovali početkom godine, trenutno smo u drugoj fazi inkubatora Nuqleusi, Get Started in Health Innovation inkubatora. Razvili smo proof of concept uređaj, a trenutno smo fokusirali na razvoj MVP uređaja. Kako bi dovršili MVP uređaj i završili naš pilot program u bolnicama, potrebno je 5500 eura. Hvala na pažnji.
Zašto tako malo novaca?
Što?
Tražite 5,5 samo eura.
Aha, zašto toliko tražimo?
5,5 miliona.
Je. Ovako, nama za prototipiranje i interno testiranje treba oko $3,000 i za troškove proizvodnje prvih 100 uređaja koje planiramo staviti kao pilot program u hrvatski sustav treba nam otprilike 2,5 eura.
Dobro, a hoćete li vi ćete pričati s nekim ljudima, piti kave, možda ćete nešto pojesti i tako dalje. Mislim, znaš, ti si medicina, rekao si, jel tako?
Je, tako.
A ovo je inženjerski način, ono što je Luka bio pričao, treba mi za to napraviti, a ovo sve drugo, taj ljudski faktor ti fali. Taj ćeš negdje otputovati, to u 5,5 nema šanse. Aj, traži više, molim te.
Dobro, okej.
Mislim, stvarno.
Dobro, u redu, može, primimo na znanje.
You got a point. Yeah. So, what is the product? What does it look like and what's special about it?
Znači proizvod, samo da dođem, proizvod je ovako respimjer, znači to je uređaj koji koristi tehnologiju gdje zapravo mjerimo pomake prsnog koša i izračunamo koliko je puta čovjek udahnuo unutar 1 minute. Ono što je drugačije od njega je to što su svi konkurenti na tržištu, samo trenutak da dođem, znači konkurenti koji to rade, slično što mi želimo raditi, znači imamo respiratorni pojas, što je drugačije kod njega što on koristi pojas, što u bolnicama često ispadne da nije toliko primjenjivo zbog drugačijih tipova ljudskog tijela, zahtjeva puno vremena da se stavi i slične stvari. Pulsni oksimetar, na primjer, on koristi nedirektnu tehnologiju, znači on preko algoritma izračuna koliko puta čovjek diše. Naprimjer, ako ja prestanem disati, on će to svejedno uračunati kao udisaj, zato što mjeri zapravo promjenu saturacije kisika u kapilarama, što nije direktna metoda, zbog toga ne može biti za znanstvena istraživanja, niti u nekim slučajevima točna. Ari timer tog trenutno koriste u Africi, na primjer za ovaj primjer što sam rekao sa djecom. To je doslovno kao oblik ovako štoperice i samo se stisne broj kad ne udahne čovjek. Znači doslovno brojite, samo koriste uređaj.
Samo pitanje, na koji način znate da je dijete udahnulo?
Mislite preko respimjera?
Da.
Zato što nije moguće udahnuti fiziološki bez da pomaknete prsni koš. Dobre. Znači, ako mi gledamo pomake prsnog koša, mi možemo hvatiti svaki udisaj.
A kako mjerite pomake prsnog koša?
koristimo senzor koji prate pomake prsnog koša. Znači to...
No further questions.
Koliko je zapravo veliko tržište u zemljama trećeg sveta, kao što si rekao da vam je fokusno tržište na početku? Koliko ima bolnica, koliko bi mogli uređaja prodati za neki par godina?
Kad pričamo o tržištu trećega svijeta, zapravo ne govorim nužno o prodaji unutar tih tržišta, a više govorim o prodaji organizacije koje opskrbljuju ta područja. I ovako, ja sam pogledao sve njihova izvješća, znači financijska, ne mogu naći, nije točan podatak koliko tamo potroše, ali njihove godišnji prihodi što oni troše na uređaje kreću se u više milijardi eura koji oni kupuju uređaje za ta područja. Nema točan podatak koliko potroše na uređaje za te ARI timere koje trenutno koriste, ali potroše više milijardi dolara za nabavu uređaja za ta područja. Na primjer UNICEF i Svjetska zdravstvena organizacija. Evo, to je najbliže što mogu dati tom odgovoru. Drugo, jednostavno.
Mislim, onda možda znaš koliko ima, ne znam, u Africi bolnica.
A problem je u tome što, problem je što to nisu bolnice, to su najveće šatori u udaljenim područjima. Znači ne mogu naći točan broj šatora koji postoje u selima gdje oni to rade. Kao bolnice ne zadovoljavaju niti približno potrebe afričkog stanovništva za medicinskom skrbi, nego to rade remote timovi koji postavljaju šatore i idu u određena sela. I takve timove treba opskrbiti sa uređajima kao što je respimer, kako je mogli dijagnosticirati najčešće djecu u upale pluća, zato što nemaju pristup dijagnostičkoj aparaturi, kolaboratorijima i rentgen uređajima. A s obzirom na težinu bolesti je potrebno djecu staviti na kisik koji onda treba transportirati u bolnice, kojih je puno manje nego što je stanovnika. U tom mi ulazimo.
Imali ste tu slajd jedan, s kim ste razgovarali?
Tu smo razgovarali, znači
Ne, nije taj bio, nego, ne, još neki, s kim ste u bolnicama razgovarali, čisto me zanima neki feedback sa terena.
Mislim da, to.
Ovaj drugi, čekaj, taj.
Aha, okej, za sad smo pričali sa 6 liječnika i to su bili, znači, to je bilo 3 liječnika iz ovih ustanova i 3 liječnika iz KBC-a Zagreb i generalno smo ispitivali, evo sad ću raditi na ovaj prošli slajd, smo ispitivali ove tu znači pretpostavke koje smo napravili i želi smo zapravo saznati njihov feedback na te pretpostavke. Znači, ono što je često, znači neki sentiment bio i nama kad smo ulazili u tu, je saturacija kisika može zamijeniti frekvenciju disanja. Ne može. Ona se često stavlja kao isto respiratorni parametar, ali ona zapravo se popunja kao puzzle skupa sa frekvencijom disanja. Znači jedno drugo nadopunju, ne mogu se zamijeniti. I to smo išli ispitati, također smo išli ispitati koriste li oni frekvenciju disanja, kako je mjere, je li smeta subjektivnost tog problema. To je jedno od značaja koji zapravo nismo na početku razmišljali, sad kasnije saznali. Da to što je taj parametar subjektivan predstavlja veliki problem, jer ako ga objektiviziramo, onda je on pravno siguran unutar kao okvira anamneze. I također onda se lakše mogu raditi usporedbe s obzirom na bolesti u drugim bolnicama, što jako povećava potencijal znanstvenih istraživanja koristeći frekvenciju disanja. To su na primjer liječnici s kojim smo pričali naznačili kao veliku korist standardiziranog uređaja koji bi automatski mjerio.
A zašto mi se to nije niko do sad napravio? Zašto? Što po vama?
Meni iskreno mislim da je stvar design thinkinga. Mislim da je ove do sada solucije koje su na tržištu su nudile su mogućnost mjerenja frekvencije disanja, ali nisu pronašle znači primjenu u bolnicama zato što jednostavno je primjena bila dosta nespretna. A ono što mi želimo napraviti uređaj koji je jako lagano staviti na prsni koš, koji možete nositi u kuti, samo ga izvadite i stavite. Da je znači primjeni zapravo na bilo koji oblik tijela i na bilo koji raspon godišta.
Ok, sad nam slijedi zadnji tim iz druge faze Nuqleusa. Multitasking. Ok, Jasmina nam je spremila, izvoli Jasmina.
Hvala. Ja bom na engleskom isto. So, hi, my name is Jasmina and today I'll tell you about Enhance, a non-invasive device for treatment of brain disorders. But first let me tell you a story. This is Mr. S. For the past few years, has been suffering from fatigue, cognitive and muscle dysfunction, so he decided to go to the hospital. The results of his MRI showed that he has multiple sclerosis. Now he's aware that this means that he will soon be using a walking aid, then a wheelchair, and then at some point will be completely bedbound. So what does his normal day look like? Well, on a good day, Mr. S would wake up, he would take his pills, and he would somewhat be able to resume his normal daily activities. Here meaning that he would be able to chop all the cabbages that he wants. But on a bad day, Mr. S would wake up and he would not be feeling so well. His brain would be foggy and his muscles wouldn't function. He would then go to the hospital to get a corticosteroid injection, come back home, still have to take his pills, but his symptoms wouldn't go away. He would then realize it's just one of those days and decide to go back to bed. Mr. S is 1 out of every 5 people in this world that are suffering from neurological disorders. The cost of care for these people in European Union alone has reached 1 trillion euros per year. So what if things could be different? What if things could change? What if Mr. S could wake up, put on a hat, and live his normal daily life? Wouldn't that be great? Introducing Enhance, a novel non-invasive device that uses electromagnetic fields for treatment and remote monitoring of patients with brain disorders. It consists of sensors and emitters that are connected in a feedback loop for real-time modification of the treatment protocol. So how does it work? Well, let's imagine our neuron being like a road on which a car is traveling, the car here being the signal. When someone has a neurological disorder, this road is filled with road bumps. This means that the car cannot go as fast nor as far as it would like to. When Enhance comes in, it knocks these roadblocks out of the way, allowing the car to propagate at normal speed for normal distances. But let's get down to business now. The size of our market is 538 billion euros, while our serviceable obtainable market is 1.6. The main players on our market are Medtronic, Abbott Laboratories, Johnson & Johnson, and Siemens. Our main competition are Optune and BrainQ, which both use electromagnetic fields but deliver a static treatment protocol and are therefore insufficient. We developed this idea in 2017. In 2019, we obtained 70,000 euros funding, with which we were able to build and test an early prototype, as well as submit the patent application in September of 2022. Now, in order to develop the sensors and build a device that's ready for animal testing, we're requiring an investment of 400,000 euros. But who is this we that needs the money? That would be me, Philip, and Dinko. I'm the project leader and the device inventor. I'm an expert in electromagnetism and biophysics of the nervous system, also the graphical designer. Then we have Dinko. He's our preclinical research manager with 20 years of research experience and specializes in neurodegenerative disorders. I met Dinko in 2016 and 2020 defended my PhD thesis in his lab. Finally, we have Philip. He's our quality control and chief engineer. He was the main developmental engineer for the enhanced device, and he's our regulatory compliance officer. He joined our team in 2019. Thank you.
This sounds too good to be true. It's great. It's an awesome product. Who else was working on that besides you?
Me, Dinko, and Philip.
You mean this is completely original work?
So I started developing this idea in 2017, technically 2016 is part of my undergrad university thing. And then I just looked into developing an electromagnetic treatment device, started working on an idea, then went to research the market to see if something like that already exists, figured out that similar solutions exist, adapted the solution to include sensors and allow real-time adaptation of the treatment protocol, and now we're here.
So what's the field strength? What's the frequency? What's the what does the electromagnetic wave look like there?
Yeah, so the frequencies that are used, I cannot disclose our frequency, but I can say the frequencies that are used. So it's for 50 to 150 kilohertz.
Okay.
And the field strength is between 0.01 millitesla to 0.8 millitesla. That's what I can say, because some things we kind of have to.
So you're saying that this has been proven scientifically to work?
Yeah.
So there are publications?
Yes.
Not just yours?
No, there's
everybody else's?
Yeah, there's multiple publications. A lot of them have been published in Nature and Science. Like if you write low frequency electromagnetic field treatment, You can see it tested on cells, on animals, so on mice, rats, everything. There's newer publications, older publications. The oldest publication that is in a good journal dates to like 2010, I'm gonna say. But the past few years, so from 2020 until now, there's been a huge rise in that. Fun fact, Horizon had a specific call, so AIDS Pathfinder, I think, had a specific call dedicated for electromagnetic treatment of brain disorders. So it's something that's,
Interesting.
yeah, definitely.
Excellent. Thank you.
Did
No
you
problem.
apply?
What?
Did you apply
Yes,
for the
yes,
AAC?
yes. So we applied and we're currently in the process of,
I know a little bit too much about this project, so just can you explain what's your way of entering the market? How do you imagine? I mean, I'm definitely sure you're going to succeed and all that. I'm not even questioning that, but how are you going to enter them? How are you going to reach those hospitals? How are you going to win them?
yeah, so one of the easiest or like most common ways of reaching doctors and hospitals and to get them to adapt this technology is to be present in a lot of medical and scientific conferences. That's where you meet the doctors, that's where you meet the heads of the department. In medical field, even though the buyers are the administration or like the hospital or the government, depending on where the funds are coming from, the decision makers are different from the opinion makers. So from the ones that are giving the opinion and the ones that are going to be pushing our product are doctors that are going to be using this device because it would save them time, it would save them resources, meaning that they would just, because the whole idea of our device is that it can be portable, the patient can just put it on and the doctor can track him from home. So it would save money, it would save time for the doctors. So they would be the ones that would be pushing our device. And then somewhat long-term, of course, we're looking to making connections with the hospital, do presentations at the hospital to show them how our device can actually improve their business. So our main pushers would be the doctors, because they're the ones that are...
But they're not going to be decision makers. Your decision makers are hospital
The
administrators.
decision makers are hospital administrators, but the doctors are the opinion makers, meaning that if they need this, they can persuade especially if they're the head of the department or something. But I think it's going to be like the adaptation process is going to go hospital by hospital basis mainly, I think.
Wouldn't insurance play a bigger role than like
Yeah, of course.
direct hospital administration?
Yeah, that's one of the things that I forgot to mention. Yeah, no. So the insurance companies, both public and private, depending on whether we're going to go as this being incorporated into the main healthcare plan or the dopunsko/dodatno insurance, of course the insurers are going to play a main role. We defined our three target audiences: hospital admin, insurers, and the doctors as some form of opinion makers. But the insurance companies are definitely, if they're going to be willing to cover it, then they are the
Super
ones.
fast one, because I know Alan has another. So you essentially, there are companies that already do this, but non-dynamic.
Yes.
What's the projected cost difference between your solution and the static solution that currently exists?
So the static solution that currently exists in the US market. So it's difficult to compare ourselves to, for example, their price, and because I don't know their cost of goods, but for example, Optune, so one of the, and I'll forget what the slide is, but Optune, one of the devices that uses electromagnetic fields for treatment of glioblastoma. It prolongs the patient's life for 15 months. They are selling the device, so they're lending the device, loaning, so to say, for $25,000 per month. But that's the US market. There's nothing like this currently on the EU market on which I can base my assumptions on, but because the healthcare system in Europe/US is working differently, we think that we will be cheaper from the current methods, meaning that the cost of care for patients for getting an EEG, an MRI, and blood tests, everything, that our solution will be cheaper per year. The cost of that per patient is $40,000 per year in US alone for a patient with neurological disorders. We expect to be cheaper than that, so to save them money on the other things. I don't know if that answered. Okay.
Okay, I have one quick question. So let's assume this device works. I'm not really competent enough to know how good it will be, or I'm not expert in that field. So let's assume this device works. So how will you protect yourself, for example, other industry leaders like Pfizer, etc., for entering this market? Because you said, obviously we have some patent applications, but what can you actually patent? There are a lot of publications in Nature or Science on, I understand that this device is based on not just, one knowledge or not one finding, but numerous findings throughout the years. So how can you protect yourself for example, Pfizer copying your device, using maybe even the same frequency, and entering the market, because they have much better connections with the insurance, with the doctors, with the decision makers?
Thank you. That's a very good question. So that's something that we were very well aware from the very beginning, to an extent that we tailored our patent around that. So our patent is a system and method for treatment and generation, blah, blah, protocol. But the whole point of the patent is the fact that our emitters are connected in a feedback loop via the sensors. So our patent, based on our patent application that we wrote with the patent, is a very broad patent, to an extent that if someone is trying to use emitters with sensors like EEG, sensors like MEG, sensors like that, they have to go around our patent. So our patent is very broad. We didn't patent, because patenting the technology of, we're now applying electromagnetic fields, but we patented the combination of those, which is what makes us different from the competition. So I think that we have a very good claim with the patent on that. That's one of the reasons why we're also going to protect China, in case someone big wants to acquire us, that in case we have China as well.
Yeah, if I may then just comment, then maybe you don't have to do anything. You just need to wait for them to use this technology, and then you can sue them.
True.
That's
True.
also one potential outcome.
You need an investment to sue,
Yeah, so all of it is a technique. But yeah, so I think we have a very good, now our goal, since we have a very broad patent, now our goal is to do minor patents, so within this broad field. But we tried going as broad as possible, which I think we did.
Ok, time smo došli do kraja startupa iz Nuqleusa. Sada će nam se predstaviti startup iz Splita i iz Varaždina. Startup iz Splita nam je preporučen od programa Digitalna Dalmacija, koji već 6 godina radi na razvoju startupa u Splitu i Splitsko-dalmatinskoj županiji. Trenutno imaju oko 50 startupa koje prate, podržava i povezuju. Mi imamo naš program u 3 faze, oni imaju 3 odvojena programa sa sličnim idejama. Dakle, imaju studentske poduzetničke projekte zajedno sa FESB-om, onda imaju Start It Up akademiju na kojoj se nastavlja edukacija i Grow It program koji ima fond od 130.000 eura. Ups, svjetlo nam je nestalo. Dakle, za više informacija o programu Digitalne Dalmacije možete uhvatiti kolegu Damira Brčića. Gdje nam je Damir? Evo ga tamo, tako da slobodno ga uhvatite kasnije. Pozivam sad tim koji su nam preporučili, developer Marijan Sikora, Klara Bruna-Tomić, Marino Jurić i Matej Vuko sa FESB-a. Klara, evo, izvoli, ja ću namjestiti prezentaciju.
Zamislite da šetate kroz Peristil i čujete Dioklecijanov glas.
Kazar sanctae urbis Romae Augustus.
E pa to vam se sigurno neće dogoditi ako koristite postojeće načine razgledavanja grada. Po našem istraživanju, 30% od vas unajmljuje klasične vodiče i ističe da su ili skupi, ili ne govore vašim materinjim jezikom, ili drže prebrz tempo razgledavanja. 60% od vas odlučuje samostalno istraživati i osim što se izgubi po ulicama, izgubi se i u moru informacija na internetu. Postoje i mobilni audio vodiči, ali provodeći različita istraživanja, utvrdili smo da ih povezujete samo s muzejima, što je prava šteta jer oni mogu biti puno više od toga, a pravi primjer je developer. Developer je mobilni audio vodič koji, osim što omogućuje slušanje audio opisa na više jezika prilagođenim tempom, daje novu dimenziju turističkom razgledavanju. Tijekom cijele ture čujete ambijentalne zvukove koji su karakteristični za doba i lokalitet na kojem se nalazite. Na taj način možemo oživjeti Dioklecijana koji vas pozdravlja s vestibula. S desne strane njega pozdravljaju gladijatori, a s lijeve strane pretorijanska garda. To je zvučna proširena stvarnost kojom developer obogaćuje audio opise turističkih lokacija. Naše tržište je turizam i očekuje se da će rast kulturnog turizma biti između 11 i 15% godišnje, a očekivani rast tržišta vodiča je oko 9% godišnje, iz čega je vidljivo da se klasični oblici vođenja tura neće moći nositi s ukupnim porastom tržišta. Godišnji prihodi konkurentskih vodiča iznose između 1,6 i 2,4 milijuna američkih dolara, a konkurencija u Hrvatskoj je slaba, što ćemo iskoristiti da bismo lakše ostvarili našu početnu zaradu, stekli stabilan tržišni položaj i proširili se na globalnu razinu. Naš poslovni model bio bi B2G. Ugovarat ćemo izradu audio vodiča s turističkim zajednicama koje će kao dodatan benefit imati mogućnost kanaliziranja turističkog prometa, ali za ugovorena mjesta vodiči će biti besplatni. Na taj način akvizirat ćemo početnu bazu korisnika, što će nam omogućiti daljnje skaliranje našeg poslovnog modela. Razvijajući naš projekt, proveli smo različita znanstvena istraživanja i eksperimente, te smo prikupili kontakte budućih korisnika i naručitelja, te zapravo dobili izravan upit za licenciranje naše tehnologije od strane inozemnih konkurenata. Svi dolazimo kao programeri s FESBA, ali imamo i druge skillove, pa je Marijan specijalist za georeferenciranje i audio, Marino za dizajn, Matej se bavi zvučno proširenom stvarnošću, a ja marketingom. No svi volimo putovati, tako da smo navedene probleme iskusili na vlastitoj koži. Danas smo vam pokazali kako da ih riješite, te kako da uz developer obogatite turističko razgledavanje. Stoga vjerujem da ćete nas podržati. Hvala.
Dakle, zamislite biznis model da vi prodajete B2G, je li tako? A kako ja kao korisnik recimo dođem u Split i kako ja dođem do aplikacije? Da li ću ja to nekom App Store-u vidjeti? Zašto se to zove Develop AR koji je poprilično onako inženjerski? Jeste svi inženjeri?
Jesmo.
Je, da. Zašto se ne zove nešto fora? Mislim, ne. Kako kupci dođu do toga? Kupci, korisnici?
Znači ovako, prvo da odgovorim, hvala na pitanju, odgovorim na developer, znači AR je u biti skraćenica.
Ma skužio sam ja to sve, da.
Pa dobro, mislim da je onda jasno.
Hvala.
Što se tiče početnih korisnika, planirali smo postaviti recimo na rivi neki štand i tako upoznat prvih 10 do 100 korisnika. To naravno nije skalabilno, ali tako možemo doći do prvih korisnika, a potom bi krenili u neke baš marketinške oglašavanje, PR, outreach, programatsko oglašavanje, Google oglasi i tomu slično, da bismo dobili veći broj korisnika.
I s obzirom da je to B2G, znači business to government, cilj će biti zapravo da, na primjer, općina to oglašava i za nas, jer oni će pomoći nas moći kanalizirati te korisnike gdje oni žele da oni idu, što da posjete i gdje da više potroše vremena.
I taj dio, znači, tura koji bude financiran od strane općina, turističkih zajednica će biti besplatan za korisnike. Aplikacija će biti naravno na Google Playu i iOS Storeu, dok planiramo znači za onaj dio tura koje su atraktivne po broju turista, a koje nisu spremni platiti turističke zajednice, sami razviti i to naplaćivati sa naravno jednim pristupačnim iznosom.
Mislim, ideja mi je super, mislim da imate dobar potencijalno proizvod, ali učinite nešto s imenom, jer ja kao korisnik, meni to mi je šta ću sad, šta je to?
Ime je ostalo, u početku je bila malo drugčija ideja, pa smo pivotali par puta, a ime je ostalo.
Pitanje, ona priča sa Dioklecijanom je zanimljiva, dok nisam vidio tim. Ko će vam raditi content?
Znači, ako bi radili business to government, najčešće oni bi nama dali sadržaj tako da ne bi morali raditi content. Ali
Čekaj, gdje su glumci koji će glumiti Dioklecijana?
To je jedan od glavnih trošaka koji imamo, znači produkcija proširene zvučne stvarnosti i produkcija, znači spikeri koji će čitati opise točaka, jer to su dvije glavne komponente.
Ko će to platiti?
Platit će, ukoliko općine, odnosno turističke zajednice financiraju, oni će sa svojim iznosom koji plate za našu uslugu to pokriti, naravno. Ukoliko mi želimo sami raditi...
Nemojte, vi ste inženjeri. Nemojte se gurati
mi nećemo snimati zvuk niti producirati
nije mjesto.
Da, tako da u smislu ukoliko želimo raditi za ona područja gdje nema interesa od lokalne samouprave za investiciju, tu bi mi znači prikupili sredstva i financirali razvoj.
Ja ako samo smijem, imam neko iskustvo dugogodišnje sa lokalnom upravom i itd. Uzmite im pare, ali nemojte da išta rade za vas. Neće biti to, neće na dobro biti i nemojte ni vi, kao što je rekao Dubravko, uzmite nekoga koji je profesionalno u tome. Imate glumaca, režisera, povjesničara, svega, napravite to. Ovima uzmite pare, vi napravite s ovom ekipom.
Da, mi smo tu samo za tehnički dio, nismo mislili raditi ovaj dio produkcijski.
Ne, ali bitno je ono što se Ante rekao, jer bolje je da vi samo uzimete, stavite jednu fakturu pa onda vi odradite content i marketing i sve. To je sve više će vas platiti na kraju dana.
Pa mene bi zanimalo zapravo samo taj neki financijski plan. Jel vi tražite neku investiciju, koliko vam planirate imati prihoda, od čega se mislite financirati, koliko se mislite naplaćivati? Čisto da vidim tu konstrukciju nekako, jel to drži vodu, jer nekako je to dosta skup sport ako ćete ići onako izirati klijente direktno. Mislim, vjerojatno da znate, ali volio bi čuti malo to.
Da. Što se tiče financijskog plana, znači ono što trenutno nam je aktualno, u pregovorima smo sa jednim od konkurenata koji bi tu tehnologiju otkupili od nas i oni već imaju etablirane svoje vodiče, ali nemaju taj dio proširene zvučne stvarnosti. Tako da je to jedan prihod koji bi došao, a uložili bi ga mi u daljnji razvoj proizvoda. Što se tiče ugovaranja poslova, planirali smo naplaćivati po jednoj turi prilikom ugovaranja sa lokalnom samoupravom nekih 10.000 eura, to je neka ugruba procjena. Naravno, ovisi o broju točaka za pojedinu turu, ovisi o broju jezika na kojima će biti ta tura producirana. Dok u slučaju prodaje izravno krajnjim kupcima, znači za one ture koje ne bi bile financirane od lokalne samouprave, tu bi cijena bila do nekih 5 eura, tako da to bude ipak pristupačno turistima.
Ali ako licencirate tehnologiju glavnom konkurentu, ko je vaš onda unique selling point? Zašto bi
oni ne pokrivaju Hrvatsku, oni rade samo Skandinaviju, tako da bi mi znači prvo krenuli sa Hrvatskom i dalje išli sa širenjem.
Hvala.
Samo onda možda jedan komentar. Zašto ne bi počeli negdje gdje imate više kontrole nego u cijelom gradu? Možda, ne znam, za početak muzej, jedna lokacija, theme park, nešto tako gdje dobiš čovjeka na ulaz i držiš ga u jednom sistemu. Jer na rivi, ok, ali ne prolaze svi koji dolaze u Split preko rive. I ne prolaze svi preko vašeg štanta i tako dalje. Mislim, počnite negdje gdje je više kontrole. Imaš možda manji produkt, manje komplikacija. Barem da probate.
Pa, mi smo na tom tragu u našim razmišljanjima. Znači, ono što je navedeno u smislu znanstvenog istraživanja, radili smo u suradnji sa Muzejom hrvatskih arheoloških spomenika u Biskupiji u Kninu, a sad smo u pregovorima sa Arheološkim muzejom u Splitu gdje bi se to primijenilo u Saloni. Znači, na području stare Salone i tura bi bila kanalizirana, znači išla bi uz prodaju ulaznica i to bi bilo područje gdje bi se išlo.
Ok, i zadnji tim za danas nam dolazi iz Varaždina, preporučen od programa Startup FOI koji nudi podršku studentima u osnivanju vlastitog poduzeća u obliku stručne i financijske pomoći. Gdje su nam sa FOI-a Katarina? Evo nas, tu je. Znači možete kolegicu Katarinu uhvatiti ako vas zanima bilo što o njihovom programu kasnije. A oni su nam preporučili tim Čonča, pa evo, izvoli.
Hi there. Hi there again. My name is Frano, and let me introduce you to Choncha, the next generation of plant parenting. So if you've been around plants, you've probably noticed it's been like the same way they've been taking care of them for centuries. Nothing changed pretty much, and that by itself is no issue. The issue arises when I personally start take care of plants. They usually pay the ultimate price. But the good news is I'm not alone. Although 7 out of 10 millennials are plant parents, 67% say that taking care of them is more of a challenge that they bargain for. Every 1 in 5 worries about finding a plant sitter when they're not around their plants. 22% choose not to own a plant because they killed one in the past, which is very sad, you know, because there's no solution in sight. Until Choncha. So that is basically what drove us to creating a solution for those issues. Choncha takes care of your plant needs, solving 5 out of 5 main worries your plant owners have. And it's an IoT smart plant pot with automatized watering and sensor systems inside. It's all connected to an app via server, so you can be anywhere in the world monitoring your plant in real time. It basically gives your plant a voice. How it works is you download the Choncha app, pair it with the pot. Choncha will then scan the space it is in and recommend you, if you do not have already a plant, it will recommend you the best plant for your space. Because let's face it, chili pepper from Nicaragua is never going to make it in a hallway. So let's stop that issue at the root. Then place your plant if you already have it in the pot. Let our app know what kind of plant it is and just enjoy the carefree plant parenting experience. This is what our app does exactly. We made really good care. We paid special attention, as I said, to making sure everything can be seen in one glance. So maybe if you're in an office job and you remember, oh yeah, I have like 5 plants at home and I haven't looked at them for 5 weeks, you want to know if they're fine in like 5 seconds. That's exactly what our app does. But if you want more, you can scan your plants with our app. It will tell you if there's any possible surface leaves issue, and that we cannot know everything, of course, from just the picture itself, but you know, it's very useful. If you want to know even more, you can learn some fun facts about plants while Choncha waters yours. That's it. Probable question is why now? I got an Alexa at my home, and I wondered, just an idea is if an Alexa could ask my Choncha what temperature and humidity and amount of light is in my apartment, that would be really cool. So we're kind of working on developing that. You can ask your Alexa what's the temperature, it asks our plant pot, and basically tells you. The reason is smart home devices became mainstream just around like a couple of years ago, and it's only going to rise. These are the numbers we got. And competition-wise, we often get associated with smart garden solutions like Urbigo and Click and Grow, but we're kind of working on a whole different set of problems. We're a perfect Venn diagram, like prayers between plant pots, normal plant pots and smart gardens. We're combining the technology, similar technology in smart gardens and connecting with normal plant pots. Because the issue is our normal house plants are still not being taken care of. Smart gardens only take proprietary seeds. They have really small niche use cases, while you can put anything you want in our plant pot, it'll just grow, and that's just it. We got some traction. We started with the MVP. I did not want to go to VCs with just a pitch deck, so we started right away with creating the MVP. We finished it after a few months of hard labor. After that, we entered actually incubator at Startup FOI. Right after that, we officially launched our Kickstarter campaign. In just under a month, we we got around $11,000 in pre-orders for our product. Expected delivery will be in September through October. Kind of unaligned, we did an accidental marketing campaign. We went viral in the region, reaching over 3 million people, like regionally Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Croatia. We were all over the news and everything, so it's really cool. Right now, we're at the seed raise. We currently are speaking with a few of our angels. I'm really preferring smart money over just VC money, although VC money is another thing because we're dealing in hardware here, so it's not really, it's very bloody. We're currently here and working on production and sales. First, orders will be done in 3D print technology. Not really ideal, but before the seed raise, it's really tough to build the whole assembly lines and everything. So we work with what we have, and so we'll be delivering in September 3D printed models of Choncha. This is our team. It's pretty diverse. I got a product expansion team leader experience in a unicorn startup setting. When it became too corporate, I left and started this. Hedera does design and everything like marketing related. Edo is he's just a borderline autistic engineer, you know, he does everything. Petar Šiljeg is our lead dev, also my colleague from FOI. He's working with his high school brother, which is amazing developer, I must say. And a few more people per project basis. Katarina is our plant expert. We really need a plant expert, and she finished a horticulture college and started another one. So, yeah, that's about it. So, thank you. If there are any questions, I'm available.
So, question about the product. First, you spoke about an application on a mobile phone. And then there's a hardware piece to this?
Yeah, exactly.
How does it water? Do you have to hook it up to a faucet, or you just has a tank in it?
Oh, no. I don't think, is there a laser here? Let me figure it out. Yeah, so this whole part up above, this is where the plant basically lives. The middle part is all the technology. So there's a water pump here that connects with a hose down there. All the electronics, batteries, and everything, Wi-Fi modules are inside, connected to your Wi-Fi network, and through Wi-Fi network through your phone. So when you input what type of plant is inside the plant pot, the algorithm already knows the perfect ideal watering, amount and everything.
I see. So there's hardware in there, and there's Arduino in there somewhere.
Yeah. There's a what?
Arduino?
We started with the Arduinos, but we're making custom
like
PCBs.
Yeah.
Okay,
now you're the fourth startup that I know of, and I wasn't even looking, that does smart device, a smart garden. What's it with this? Is just an endless supply of people who want to have gardens?
Man, I got the same question, I just got here.
How are you going to succeed with the other three, those that I know of?
Yeah.
And there's probably many more. What's your edge? What's your unfair advantage?
It's right here. The main reason I started all of this is when all of my plants paid the ultimate price of being owned by me.
Just don't buy them.
I got online and started looking for solutions to buy, and there were basically none. There's still none. If you have a Monstera at home and you want to go on holidays for 6 weeks, I mean, if you don't want to leave your keys to your neighbor or something.
I understand that, but that's the same story all the other startups doing smart gardens are telling me. You go away on vacation and the thing takes care of your plant. I got that. Why are you different? Why are you better than they are? Why are you going to succeed while they were not?
Well, that's a good question.
It is. Yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah. So what we already built is a brand as a user experience. It's a whole ecosystem of an app connected to a smart plant pot. Our job begins even earlier than the plant meets the pot. We recommend you the best plant for your space. So we're ideal for somebody who doesn't have a plant already, wants to have it, or for a plant fanatic. You can have one Choncha plant pot in a room with 50 plants to tell you the humidity and everything. All of those solutions don't have any of those. Light sensors, humidity sensors.
Hold on. I have to stop you because I had students that want to do a bachelor's degree with me, and they came with exactly the same story. oh yeah, it's going to have water, it's going to measure humidity, it's going to do this and that. Like, okay, that's not, do you have anything that is there any innovation in there that you can protect and make sure that nobody can touch it?
I mean, you can buy a drill at a Lidl, and you can buy a Bosch. We're trying to be a Bosch. And also, none of those solutions, they are essentially, if you type on YouTube, 3D print Arduino, self-watering kit, yeah, you can make it. My grandma, me, I don't want to do it by myself. We want to mass produce that solution and put it to the market, because we prove the market wants it and needs it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, that the market exists, the proof is in the pudding. There are 4 companies I know of that are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So there is a market.
Yeah.
Well, I think the question that Dubravko was asking you is critically important to your success. I'm not saying you won't succeed, and neither is he actually, but be very careful how you approach it, because it really does sound like a solution that has been seen a couple of times before. I do have a question, kind of more of a content question. So, what kind of plant is somebody buying that will pay however much a choncha costs? What's the plant that goes in mainly? Because, well, if it's a cheap plant, you won't care. You won't pay, I don't know, what is it, 20, 50, 100 euros?
Yeah. Choncha is currently at around $59 retail price. We got people ordering like 10 units at a time on Kickstarter. Any plant. We really don't discriminate. I mean,
I know any plant can live in
Yeah.
it. The question is, which plant am I going to buy that will, have me spend an extra 60 euros on a pot?
Yeah.
Right?
You can buy any plant knowing it will be just that one, and not the new one next month.
Yes, I understand that, but is it what I'm trying to get to is it a €5 cactus, or is it a 150 euro monstera?
It's usually, 80% of our houseplants are just monsteras. They're around 20 euros, around that, so.
Not very big ones. The big ones are more.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking,
Yeah.
It's an important question. I obviously don't have an answer, but have an answer for that, because it's important. It's important also to the person who will buy this and all of that, right?
We get a lot of questions from like business clients, huge hotels, business spaces and everything. They want to put like even bigger plants. The plan is down the line to build like plant pot this size that you can put basically a small tree inside. It'll water automatically. You can forget about it for a half a year. And on the other side, we really got people asking for smaller plants for cactuses, but usually it's like somewhere in between. We got people with mosaics that are like 2,000 euros, and they want to go on vacation seeing their bonsai tree on a camera, It's a really, really diverse market with a lot of niches, and we're just trying to feel out what the market wants the most. It's a pretty general product. You can put anything inside. But down the line, we're trying to, find our niche yet. We're still a bit early for that.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Ok, ljudi, time smo došli do kraja službenog programa. Hvala vam još jednom što ste došli i poduprli nas na prvom eventu ovog tipa. Znači, naš plan za sljedeći tjedan je popričati sa startupima, zbrojiti sve ocjene i onda ćemo objaviti koja su to do 3 startupa s kojima ćemo raditi u 3. fazi programa. Pohvatajte sve startupe i sad na koktelima, jer većina njih radi rješenja koja su malo kompleksnija od pića od 3 minute, pa ih pitajte što točno stoji iza toga. Hvala vam još jednom što ste došli tu i nadam se da ste uživali. Kokteli su dolje.